1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says ensuring timely completion of the development projects in the merged districts of erstwhile FATA is the foremost priority of the government. The Senate has unanimously adopted recommendations of its Standing Committee on the Finance Bill 2020. 60 new deaths due to coronavirus infection and 3,892 new cases were reported in the country during the last 24 hours. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has acknowledged Pakistan's progress in criminal justice system's response to terrorism. The Foreign Office says India has fomented terrorism inside Pakistan by providing financial and material support to terrorist groups. In occupied Kashmir, Hurriyat leaders have thanked OIC contact group on Kashmir for holding a meeting on the worsening human rights situation in occupied Kashmir. Over 1,000 European lawmakers have urged the leaders to stop Israel's planned annexation of parts of the occupied West Bank. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says the federal government is completing its responsibility regarding uninterrupted provision of development funds to the merged districts of erstwhile FATA. He was talking to a group of members of the National Assembly hailing from the merged districts, led by the Minister for Religious Affairs Nurul Haq Qadri in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said ensuring completion of development projects in the stipulated time is the first and foremost priority of the government. The meeting discussed public welfare and development issues, measures taken to control the spread of corona pandemic and progress on the roadmap regarding socio-economic development. The delegation thanked the Prime Minister for his personal interest and efforts for development of the merged districts. Prime Minister Imran Khan has approved the launch of mobile application of the Tiger Force. Talking to the Special Assistant on Youth Affairs, Usman Dar, in Islamabad today, he directed to launch the mobile application based on geotagging across the country. The Prime Minister said the youth are an asset of the country and their devotion to serve the country as well as the nation is commendable. The Prime Minister was briefed on digital technology for effective use of the Tiger Force. He expressed satisfaction over effective utilization of the Tiger Force through digital technology. The Aviation Minister Ghulam Sarwar Khan says initial investigation report on last month's PIA plane crash in Karachi has been presented in the National Assembly. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad today, he said the interim report has been issued in line with the international laws of civil aviation. He said the plane had successfully completed 6 flights before the tragic incident. He said the initial report reveals that both the pilots and the air traffic controllers ignored the standard protocols. The House today unanimously adopted recommendations of Senate Standing Committee on Finance on the Finance Bill 2020 containing the annual budget statement. The motion was moved by Senator Farooq H. Naik. Speaking on the occasion, he said the committee proposed 40 amendments in the Finance Bill besides 53 general consensus recommendations. About 3,900 new coronavirus cases have surfaced in the country over the last 24 hours, taking the total tally to 188,926. These include 69,536 cases in the Punjab, 72,656 in Sindh, 23,388 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 9,634 in Balochistan, 11,483 in the Islamabad Capital Territory, 1,337 in Gilgit-Baltistan, and 892 cases in Azad Kashmir. The death toll from the virus stands at 3,755, with 60 new deaths reported over the last 24 hours. 23,380 coroner tests were carried out during this period. 77,754 patients have so far recovered from the infection. The number of coronavirus infection cases across the world has risen to over 9.3 million, and the pandemic has so far claimed over 480,440 lives. The United States tops with over 2.4 million cases and more than 123,483 deaths, followed by Brazil with over 1.1 million cases and 52,788 deaths. Over 5 million patients have so far recovered from the disease. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has acknowledged Pakistan's progress in criminal justice system's response to terrorism. This was stated by the Chief of the Terrorism Prevention Branch, Masood Karimpour, at a virtual meeting on South Asia Regional Toolkit for Judges, supporting the development of national bench books for the effective adjudication of terrorism cases, held in Islamabad today. The virtual meeting was organized by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Authority and Sindh Judicial Academy. The consultative meeting was attended by over 20 anti-terrorism judges from Sindh, 2 from the United States District Court judges, and a magistrate from Australia. Speaking on the occasion, Masood Karimpour said Pakistan UN Office on Drugs and Crime cooperation is producing results through targeted training and tools. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Office spokesperson Aisha Faruqi says India has fomented terrorism inside Pakistan by providing training, financial and material support to terrorist groups to kill innocent people. Responding to media queries in Islamabad today, he said India is taking advantage of the prolonged conflict in our neighborhood. The spokesperson said Islamabad had proposed the designation of 4 Indian nationals last year under the United Nations sanctions list, as they were financing, sponsoring and organizing terrorism inside Pakistan by providing financial, technical and material support to terrorist groups including Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, Jamaat-ul-Ahrar and others. She said, "We are disappointed that Pakistan's proposal to designate Venu Madhav Dongara as terrorist has been objected to." The spokesperson said Pakistan hopes that the listing requests of other 3 Indian nationals, including Ajoy Mistry, Gobinda Patnaik, and Angara Apaji, will be given due consideration by the United Nations Security Council Sanctions Committee in an objective and transparent manner. She said these Indian nationals are now residing in India with impunity, which vindicates Pakistan's position that India is a state sponsor of terrorism. The all-party parliamentary group on Kashmir in the British Parliament has requested the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to immediately convene a meeting of the United Nations Security Council on the Kashmir issue. The request was made by the chairperson of the group, Debbie Abrahams, in a video message in which she also strongly deplored the enactment of domicile law by India in occupied Kashmir. Meanwhile, the all-party's Hurriyat Conference leader Abdul Hamid Lone, in a statement, has welcomed the request of Debbie Abrahams with regard to convening a meeting of the UN Security Council on the Kashmir issue. He said India is committing genocide of innocent Kashmiris through fake encounters. In occupied Kashmir, Hurriyat leaders Maulvi Bashir Ahmad, Bilal Ahmad Siddiqui, Jahangir Ghani Bhatt, Altaf Hussain Wani and Mushtaq Hussain have thanked OIC Contact Group on Kashmir for holding a meeting on the worsening human rights situation in occupied Kashmir. In their separate statements, they also hailed Pakistan for making efforts to arrange the meeting. Kashmir Tehreek Khawateen Chairperson Zamruda Habib and Secretary General Shamim Shawl have asked the international community to take notice of India's continued atrocities on the Kashmiri women. In a joint statement, they said killing of 95,611 Kashmiris by the brutal Indian forces have rendered 22,915 women widowed. Thousands of women have also been stigmatized as half-widows after revelation of 6,000 mass graves and over 8,000 enforced disappearances. More than 1,000 European lawmakers from 25 countries have urged their leaders to step in and stop Israel's planned annexation of parts of the occupied West Bank. In a letter published in newspapers and sent to the European foreign ministers, the 1,008 parliamentarians said they're deeply worried about the precedent this would set for international relations. They said such a move will be fatal to the prospects of Israel-Palestinian peace. The lawmakers said Europe must take the lead in bringing international actors together to prevent the annexation. And finally, the weather. Rain thunderstorm with gusty winds are expected in Potokar region, Upper Punjab, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the next 12 hours. However, hot and dry weather is expected to prevail elsewhere in the country. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.